Okay, so today I'm just going to quickly show you how to add new members into or add students, give students access to ArcGIS Online through the administrator portal. So the way to do that is to go to ArcGIS Online and sign in. If you haven't been on here yet with your administrator password or privileges, it's going to look a little bit different than maybe the last time you've been in here. So as you open it up, it could come up either automatically into this organization tab, which you'll see this, it's going to look a little different than the last time, or if your account opens you onto the home page, then you're just going to click onto this organization page to get to this the sort of management screen. Don't worry about too much of this. It looks a little complicated. You're really not going to mess around with too much of this other than just the ways to get new members and maybe to change our passwords or to create some groups. So I'll show you each of those. So to add a new member to get your students on, you're going to go to this members tab right here. And as you're doing this, when you're getting ready to do this, you need the names of your students that you're going to add. You also need to decide before you do this whether you're going to use the students' individual password, email accounts. So if you have email accounts through your school, which is most likely, you could add students using their school email accounts. Or you could also just add them based on your own. You can just use your own email account. You don't actually have to give each student access through their email account, whichever is easiest. And I'll show you in a little bit more detail here in a minute. So as we click into here, you're just going to go right up here to this bar that says Invite Members when you're ready. So here's where you choose how you'll invite them. So you have two real options. This third option probably doesn't make much sense for teachers and students. So you can either add members and notify them via email, the second option. So in this case, you would use a student's individual email. For a student to get access, they would have to open up their email account, find the email that's sent to them from ArcGIS, open that up, click on the links, create a password to get in. So the same way that probably you were invited to come in to do this. Or if you want to skip that step because students often don't know how to get into their email, don't remember their passwords, so you're dealing with that whole step, you can just add the members without sending invitations. So you can either use a student's email to do that, which it won't send them an email, but you can use their email, or you can just use your own email, and then it doesn't have to be a unique email for each account. So to do this, what you would do is set up the account, and then you would print off or write down or create some sort of system so students can figure out their own username and password, and it won't go through email. So you can just give it to them, and then they just go to ArcGIS Online and log in. They don't need to go through an email to activate it. So I'm just going to choose this way just to show you how to do it. It's the same if you do it the other way. New member is what I'm looking for. So then I'm just going to type in my first and last name. I'll just add myself in here. So you would use your students' first and last names here. However, when you get into looking at collaborations, you may choose to create one account for a group of students. In that case, you could just kind of create a unique name. It doesn't have to be a real name in the first name and last name. You need an email address. Like I said, it could either be the student's email address, or you could use your own email address. So I'm going to show you what happens here when you add this in here. So this is my email address, and as soon as I do that, the program assigned me a unique username. It's sort of obviously it looks like it's taking my first name, and it's just kind of adding it into the organization name, and there's a 2 on there because I already have done this before, so it's making another one. I don't have to use this, so I can just change this to whatever I want it to be. And again, with students, if you're using unique email addresses, then it'll just generate them, and that's fine. But if you're using your own email address for every single account, it's going to have the same username. So you might want to change those. And think about, again, a system where students might be able to figure out their own. So if you think about, you could use first initial, last name, and then maybe their class, like period 1 or something like that, and then every student would just know it's their first initial or last name and whichever class they're in, and then you could figure that out however you want to do it. So that's sort of up to you. As you come down into user types, you want to make sure this says creator, doesn't give you any options here, so it should be just coming into that automatically. If it doesn't say that and there's no option to change it, just let us know and we'll figure out what's going on there. For role, you want to select publisher, and what this does is means that any layers or maps that students make can be published into our account, so that over time, if we create some cool data, we would have access to that over time across classes, across schools, throughout the whole program. And then you want to assign a temporary password. Once students log in, it's going to prompt them to change it. So I just use the same one for every account that I set up, and then I don't have to think about it or remember it. I just know it's not unique ones. There's not a million passwords, just one going on. So then once you've done that, you click Next. This just gives me a chance to review, make sure I have the right role in here, and see that I have my username, and this is the email account. And then when I go to Next, it says Assign Licenses, and you don't want to do any of this, so you can just go right to Next, just skip right over that. And then you have a summary here that's just saying that you're adding a new member here, and once there's not really much information here, there's that you need to really review. Once you're done and all of this, you just hit Add Members, and now my name will be added to the list. So if you scroll down to the member list, you'll see here's the member account that I just added. So that's how you add new members.